Hello, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Need to Nerd podcast. My name's Heezy, I've got a Need to Nerd, and I'm joined by somebody else with their own need to nerd out. That's Paddy friggin' B.
Hey everyone, I'm excited to nerd out today and talk about all the exciting things.
Before we dive into our main topic today, which will be our review of Season 3 of Cobra Kai Never Dies. What? Just want to, quickly mention the public Discord. Head on over there, check out the things going on in there. We're trying to get a game night for a really fun game. It turns out that my co-hosts of my other podcast actually both play it. It's called Omega Strikers. And Paddy, I need you to download this on your other laptop. It's like a combination between air hockey and a MOBA game. So like League of Legends. It looks really fun. It's completely free. Trying to get people to play that for our game night in the Discord. So if you're into gaming and stuff, or if you want to talk about Cobra Kai Season 3, chat on over the Discord, check it out. Since we are reviewing Season 3 of Cobra Kai, I want to tell you something. Yeah, Never Die. Let's go. This is a nerd fact that I didn't know. Did you know that everybody thinks of karate as a Chinese martial arts, right? Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Yes,
Okay.
they do. Stop it. You stop it.
I feel like it's Japanese.
So let me tell you the nerd fact of the week.
Okay.
Is that it was started in the Ryukyu Kingdom, present day in Okinawa, Japan.
Right.
And I just always assumed it was on mainland China because it is called a Chinese martial arts.
Huh.
You can't move your camera after I set up the cameras, Paddy B. For the podcast listener, Paddy just straight up moved the stuff around. Anyway,
my foot caught the cord and it dragged my laptop. So.
I always thought it was from mainland China, but it is actually its origins are Okinawa, Japan.
Well, yeah, Danny goes to Okinawa.
Yeah.
I'd always kind of known it was Japanese. Why do people think it's a Chinese?
It's called the Chinese martial arts. Hold on, you do know that that it is in the name was changed from Chinese hand, right?
I didn't know that. No.
Okay.
I always thought it was Japanese.
Yeah. So basically, I'll post the wiki link for people that kind of want to read its history. But yeah, it's for those who don't know, I like that you knew this, but I thought it was a fun fact for the listeners, especially considering Danny goes back to Okinawa,
right?
Just that its origins are in the Ryukyu. I'm gonna say that wrong, but that's where the karate was born.
Yeah, in Okinawa. That's hot.
Let's go into our main topic. This we'll start with no spoilers if you haven't watched it yet. You're wondering if you want to watch Season 3, if it's worth it after Season 2. Spoiler, it is. It's not a real spoiler. But I just want to talk about our first memories of this, and I'll kind of go first. For some reason, I thought I had watched this season more times than I have. I thought for sure that I had seen the season 3 times. And apparently I had only seen it once, because there was a lot of stuff rewatching that I during our Season 2 episode, you kept mixing stuff up, and I think I was doing that with this in Season 4.
Okay.
So just kind of making sure that I remembered everything was kind of important for this episode. And my first impressions of the season, I remember loving it. I remember thinking it was so good. I think that I thought it was my favorite season when I watched it the first time. and I remember being excited for it because of just like you, kind of when I picked it up. But what about you? What was your first impressions?
So my first like memory impressions with this season was this was the first one where like I had to wait for the season to come out because like I had when I had picked up the show, I'd seen season 1 and 2, then I had to wait for season 3, and I had those feelings that you have when you have to wait for a show, um, and so that was my first impression with this season specifically with this show.
Yeah, I my other kind of first impressions I remember watching this season is, it didn't have the same problem that the formulaic problem that I think I mentioned in season 2, where it
Hmm.
goes good thing, like good thing to start the episode, bad thing to end the episode, good thing to start the episode, bad thing to end the episode. Like, it does not have that rhythmic formulaic thing in this one. Like, it happens in some of them, but it's not like every episode in this one. And I do
Yeah,
remember liking that about this season.
yeah, no, that definitely tracks. That was one of your could be betters before. So um, with less of that, I can see why initially we'd remember that we liked it more.
Anything else you want to say before we dive really deep into spoilery territory about kind of your thoughts on the season? Uh, anything?
Um, yeah, just it's hard to stay off of spoilers, especially when we get into these like later seasons of the show, because like you have to watch the other ones first. So go check out our episodes if you haven't seen
Yeah,
it
I
yet.
I do think that of like the things that we've started since, I think that this might have been the first series that we started together since you
Hmm.
joined the podcast. Um, and I don't know. I think Cobra Kai is like definitely something that a lot of people have like nostalgia, and they're wondering if it's worth it. Like, it's really fun. It's a really fun
Hmm.
show to watch. So check it out. And let's get into our overall impressions, kind of a high level look at to how much we love the thing that we're talking about today. Um, well, you go first. What's your overall impression of season 3?
Um, my overall impression with season 3, uh, we see a lot of characters in this season having to deal with the fallout from season 2. We see a lot of characters in their lowest points, um, which has good and bad things that come with that. But a lot of this season is centered around the fight that ended last season at school. You know, where spoilers now that Miguel lost his ability to walk.
Yeah, I think that my overall impressions of this season after now watching it again are like really good season, really meaningful moments.
Hmm.
Lots of character growth, like probably more character growth in this season than any of the other 2 seasons by a lot.
Yeah.
Um, and also like some establishments of storylines that I don't know that I saw coming. Like when watching it, watch definitely not when watching it the first time. The one of the things that I don't know if this is like a love it or not, but like the more that I watch this show, the more times I watch it, the more I hate John Kreese.
Hmm.
Like he is a vile human. Um, and I don't know if the actor both does a really good job of playing a vile human, but also I think the writing and like the pacing and just the way the show's produced really gets you to hate this dude. Like,
Hmm.
not like you didn't hate him already if you just watched the movie The Karate Kid, but like you, by the end of this season, like I want to punch John Kreese straight in the face.
It's gonna be really hard because he's like a karate master, but yeah, I definitely feel those same urges to punch John Kreese.
So I don't know. I think that anything that can get you, it's like the Dolores Umbridge thing. Like, there's a reason
Mm,
Dolores Umbridge is such a good villain. It's because you hate her so. You just want to punch her in her stupid smug face. You
yeah.
just like you want that. You just like want her to get her comeuppance. And I just there's so much I want wrong to happen to John Kreese. And not like I don't want the dude to like, get hit by a train or anything. But like I wouldn't be sad if he got hit by a train.
Yeah, certain actors have that kind of way, and Martin Covey does a fantastic job with this, right?
I don't feel like he did as good of a job acting in the movie as he does in this show. Like he's so good in this show.
The show he is significantly better than in the movies, and
or maybe he's really this scummy. Maybe this guy is actually
he's not. I watched an awesome interview with him, and he's actually like a really cool dude who like loves football and like really awesome person outside of this. Great actor. That great actors play the best villains, because they make you feel things and want to punch them in the face.
Yeah, my other overall impression of this season is like, this is going to be kind of during my love it's, but I might watch that episode of that with that final fight, like every Christmas season, like I like that. The punches, like the music. I felt very festive watching it last night. I was like, maybe I like Christmas. Like the diehard of.
Add that to your Christmas traditions list.
Watch Cobra Kai season 3 finale.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like the last 2 episodes, right?
Yeah, it was pretty great. Let's move on to our favorite character this season. We try to pick kind of a favorite character that resonated with us the most. And Paddy, yours is?
Mine is Miguel. Man, this season is so hard for him, and you just feel everything that he's going through. We talked about how there's a lot of character moments in this season, and everything that everyone does around him. You see him like going to the D. Snyder concert, right, and like having the rhythm, like that's when he like starts to finally like move his foot for the first time. People kind of walking on eggshells around him as far as, or like, trying to take it easy when he goes back into karate, and his whole like mental fight where he's got, this ambiguous other opponent, right? And that it kind of is a visual representation of the battle in his mind. Like, that was really cool. And he's just one of my favorite characters. And like, side note, I'm like super excited that now Sholo, the actor, is getting to have other opportunities. Like he's playing the Blue Beetle coming out here sometime this year. So I'm excited to see him, in that as well.
What's the Blue Beetle?
It's a DC comic book movie.
Got it.
And yeah, he's the lead there. So
cool. He's great. I think Miguel in this season, kind of like you said, where he's like the focal point of the whole season, like all the problems going on in the city, and like it's like so unfair to him because like it's like having things be about you but not having your voice heard. And he's got like that really powerful moment where like he walks up, he's like, I'm the one that was hurt, and like I should get to a say in whether or not we have karate still. And I don't know, I think that was a really powerful moment from him to like take ownership and like take back ownership of like his life in a lot of ways, and not having his life be used against him.
Right, and dictated by everyone else as to what he wants and needs.
Right, exactly. My favorite character is Amanda this season. There's like a lot of reasons to love Amanda in this season. One, Amanda LaRusso is a total badass. And she punches John Kreese in his stupid face, which is already reason enough to love her. I love when she gets so mad she's like, he's a psychopath. Like, you ever studying more against me? You are the crazy one. Like, she's so easy to like, as a parent, place yourself in her shoes and be like, I'd be so
I'm with
mad.
you.
Like,
Yeah.
I'd be so mad. She also has some great one-liners. Well, one of them is a love it, so I'll save it for later. But she's got some banger one-liners in this one, and honestly, like she in the later seasons, you actually see more of her interactions with her kids. Like usually you see Danny's interaction, but I think this season you start to see hers, and that continues. Like you see her talking to her daughter about life and stuff later in the show, and it continues, and this just kind of lays the groundwork for that in a lot of ways. Whereas like I think that she was like portrayed as like the mean mom in season 1 in a lot of ways, like
Sure.
doesn't listen to her kids and stuff, and it's very clear by season 3 that that's not true. Like she's a pretty good parent, to be honest, and a really good partner to Danny and for Danny. And we'll get into some of that later, but I just think that when I said that like there's a lot of character growth in this season, hers specifically, like she's a whole new character, it feels like, in this season compared to the other ones. Like she cared a lot about the dealership and presentation and like things that I didn't agree with in the first seasons, but in this season it's like all about her family and her kids and their safety, and like it's just really easy to get behind her in this one.
For sure. Yeah, no, she's great, and I love she's kind of like the comic relief without being the typical comic relief with all the sarcasm.
Dude, her sarcasm and her one-liners are so good. They're so good. Yeah. I mean, I think in season 1 I mentioned I love her snapping back at Danny's mom.
Yeah, so like that's a relationship for sure.
Like I really, I don't know. I think the season just does a good job of compounding on that type of stuff. Let's start with our favorite storyline. In this segment, we like to go over kind of a story arc or a storyline or something that kind of resonates with us. Mine is kind of multiple episodes in length. And that's Johnny learning to use the computer more. Whether that be, Facebook, whether that be just really getting more out of this thing that you would expect somebody to understand. I don't know. The real character improvement from Johnny. I think that every time you see Johnny sitting in front of a laptop, it's going to have a pretty big impact on the story, and I think that's cool because like that's something that I do every day. But like when this dude's doing it, like it's changing his life in a real way.
Right, seeing those, like we see them as just like, oh, how do you not know this yet?
Yeah,
and it's just seeing the quality of life improvement go up with the more use of the computer is great.
Yeah, and I like the jabs at it later, like Danny making fun of him, like, "Oh, you learned how to use Facebook." Just like I don't know, really funny stuff. What about you? What's your favorite storyline?
So one of them, like since Miguel was my favorite character initially, I was thinking, his battle back, right? It's a pretty major storyline in the series or in this season, but then I started thinking as we were going too, man, Hawk in this season, I really like his storyline where, it starts with this, revenge against the Miyagi-Dos, and he's so driven, right, to avenge Miguel. And then by the end of the season, like as things are going on and escalating, and he's seeing all these horrible things happen, he like is making that active change to be like, no, it's not about the dojo, it's about my friends. And he joins the Miyagi-Dos and fighting Cobra Kai.
No, not Miyagi-Do. He joins Eagle Fang.
Eagle Fang, sure.
Eagle Fang like, karate.
In the end there, I associate it's like in the end fight, just the two groups. I don't separate them yet, right? As like he leaves Cobra Kai in the end to protect his friends.
Sure.
And I love that.
It's I don't know that it's going to be better. I wanted to get into Hawk because I have like I'm really glad that you mentioned the moment of clarity because like Hawk annoys me so much this season.
Yeah.
where like there's specifically the part where like he's like they're using Miguel as for their good, like they beat up that kid, right?
Like, oh, for the car wash,
Yeah,
right?
like just what could be better that was going to be is like it's hard because a show like this, I'm going to complete my thoughts here. A show like this is obviously going to have some ridiculous stuff happen in it. Like, it's the nature of the type of show it is. But some of it's a little insane. And, I don't want too much realism in my teenage millennial karate movie. But, like, just an example, that kid gets the crap beaten out of him and his money stolen for a car wash that hundreds of people were at. So, like, clearly the city knows that this car wash happened. And his first response isn't to go to the police.
Right.
Like,
sure.
What?
Just like I report a robbery.
Yeah.
Like,
and then there's like I love the finale, but it is when you take one step back and you these kids break into this rich dude's house that definitely has security cameras, that definitely has like, and they just start destroying this house.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Like just the insanity of it. You're watching, you're like, oh, this is awesome. This is such a cool fight. But then my wife is sitting next to me watching. She goes, nobody's going to call the police? Like, the insurance on this alone, like, the insurance adjuster is going to be like, what happened? And you're going to show them footage of these children breaking into your home and using pots and pans as weapons across your house.
Yeah, destroying tables, artwork.
Just, like...
Ugh.
It's fine. Like, it is the flavor of this movie or of this show. But it, like, when you take one step back, you're like, that was
a little much.
That was a lot. It could be better. It's not about things that are wrong. It's about things that it's like. I still love the season, but there is one thing that I actually did hate that I want to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And I hated it the first time I watched it too. I really hate the John Kreese flashbacks. So there's a couple reasons. One, I hate how they did them. I don't like the sympathetic start into, oh, he really is a psychopath. Like, it felt gross and like an abuse of a lot of things. One, Vietnam really sucked for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And so using our love for Vietnam veterans and our empathy for them to start out portraying this guy as some kind of misunderstood, obviously like he's suffering from the things that went on in Vietnam, to, oh no, he's just a stone cold murderer. And I don't know, it feels like an abuse of a lot of things. And also, like, I don't want to feel any sympathy for this guy. Like, don't try to make me feel sympathy and then rip it out from under me, too. I had a huge problem with it.
I gotcha. I didn't have as big of a problem with it. There's a couple things where, like I kind of know what they're setting up with, like, now with those flashbacks, having seen the rest of the seasons.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, I understand, like, now, like, that they were laying some groundwork for future seasons with those flashbacks.
So I mean, you see it in season 4 and 5 already, right? Like, but I don't know. Anyway, keep going.
And it also gives a little bit of context to, like, where he was at when he came back, right? With a lot of these veterans that we love, are on the streets, like he was homeless.
Yeah.
Right. In the shelter in an earlier season. So, like, you don't want to feel sympathetic for this murdering asshole, but, like, they do a good job at it.
The dude, listen, it sucks, right? Because you're like, that sergeant was going to kill him. Why shouldn't he kill the sergeant, right? Like why should he let the guy off the hook? But like at the same time, you're going to kill your commanding officer and then like act like a victim about it.
I mean, who's to say that he wasn't going to retaliate? Like once they were saved, who's to say that this sergeant wasn't going to retaliate
and you're defending John Cruz real hard right now.
I have to.
Why do you have to?
Because
you don't have to murder the dude. You just don't have to.
Yeah, no, you don't have to. That's the choice that he made.
Okay.
And he now has to deal with all everything moving forward. I think it adds depth to his character.
Paddy, why don't you talk about your could be betters?
Yeah, so I kind of mentioned this a little bit before, right? Because a lot of characters are in their worst spots, right? Like we see a lot of crap going on with Tori and her living situation, which oddly enough, John Kreese does take steps to help her with that. The whole, and I think part of what I was blending before, or maybe it wasn't this last season, but for me the whole prison sequence with I'm trying to get with Robbie, like, man, it just, all these characters in their low points, and it kind of muddies some stuff up, and I don't know, it just has this kind of like meh vibe to it. There's these like, it feels like really like lulls, but I also like don't know how to fix that, because it's hard to have some of these like highest highs that we experience with Cobra Kai without these lowest lows. So like I understand, but those feelings are there.
Yeah, Tori's an interesting one because you're like, man, it really sucks that you're in this low, but you also don't have to be a little shit. Like you could not do that.
Yeah, you don't have to be a villain.
Like nobody's forcing you to be a villain. And I get it, like it's showing the nature of like having bad mentors leads to bad kids.
For real, right? And you see that with Robbie too, right? Like he makes that full heel turn from Miyagi-Do to Cobra Kai. And I also kind of understand Tori too a little bit with like the way she sees, like she was in a relationship with Miguel and now he's like reconnecting with Sam, and teenage drama.
Yeah.
Love drama.
Do you want to go into your next one?
Oh, yeah. The other thing that like we talk about kind of how Devonair had that like step back moment of like, man, what is the insurance adjuster going to say? Why aren't they called the police? Like my suspension of disbelief stopped when like at the beginning of it happened at the beginning of the season.
It was like literally the first like 20 seconds of the season.
Yeah, is the city and the school taking all these steps to like prohibit fighting and karate, right? Like we would part, and also the more I thought about this, the more pissed off and creepy it is that like I was like, that couldn't actually happen. But like we're seeing a lot of stupid legislation in regards to...
It's so funny, right? Because like you think of, I mean, I'll just say it, and like I'm sure that there's a segment of our listener base that is very pro Second Amendment, and like, but like think about the number of kids that are murdered with guns, and they don't take this level of like nothing at this level even happens for that,
right? Or they're just being trans or queer, yeah, right, in a lot of places is
oh yeah, that, I mean, yeah,
that was what I was thinking of.
That's fair. Right. I was thinking of like how hard it is to keep guns out of school, but like these guys went to measures to keep like like Wolverine claws out of the school.
Yeah, right. I got my own little Wolverine claw.
Your dog attack you?
No, it was a demolition thing.
Oh, that's right. That's right. How was the tetanus shot, by the way?
It was aight.
It was good. It was a good normal day of the tetanus.
I got that when I got a nail through the foot. So this was separate, but I do have kind of a thing right where.
Well, you don't need another tetanus shot after.
No, because it's good for like 5 to 10 years. Yeah, so okay. I was covered.
I bet Sam had to get one after.
Probably.
That's funny. It's not funny, but it's funny. Let's go on to Love Hits. Let's move away from gun violence in schools and to talk about things that we actually love. And this segment kind of gives us a chance to talk about like the things that we really like enjoy about a season. I'll let you kind of go first on this one.
Cool. Yeah. So I loved Allie coming back. That was a really cool part of this season. There was a lot, not just like the John Kreese flashbacks, but you kind of see her perspective with some of the things from the first movie, right? In the clubhouse at the end around Christmas time, she tries to help Johnny and Daniel realize that there's your side, and then there's the truth. So that was pretty sweet. I love seeing her character back. I love seeing some of Sam's like trauma, because that was a really big, horrible thing that happened, and it's nice to have something like that people can see and relate to, and not that it's obviously the same thing, but with their own traumas and stuff, and how she's able to eventually deal with that and face her fears is really powerful.
Yeah, I really liked that part of the show too with Sam, and just like helping her, the show trying to portray her helping herself in a lot of ways, and how a lot of that has to come internally. As somebody who's like been through trauma therapy themselves, it can be really hard, and being able to get over, not even get over, but get through that, it's really difficult. So
yeah, 100%. And then we talked about the end fight a lot. I think it's great. It's one of my favorite fights throughout the series. So,
well, I'll kind of jump in on this with some of my love. It's one of my big love. Is the music, the Christmas music during that fight is so on point. Like, that is great choreography, great music. Like the heavy metal, like it's bells, right? They're playing bells.
I think it's like Carol of the Bells.
I think so too. It's so good. It is unbelievable.
Which, speaking of the music, right? The music for this show is awesome throughout, and that's something I could probably say before like the non-spoilers. In fact, we were going to record the other day, and it didn't work out. But in preparation for that, I had actually told my Alexa to start playing Cobra Kai season 3 soundtrack, just to like pump myself up.
Nice. Yeah, the music is really good. I wrote this one down because I had to get it exactly how she said it. I think it's literally the first line in the final episode of the show, of the season. The literal first line is Amanda saying, "I've been here for 5 minutes and already have seen 10 people I hate. It's Christmas time, all right." And I lost it. I lost it. I was like, if that's not the most Spencer thing someone could say, like, it's, I've been here for 5 minutes and I've already seen 10 people I hate. It was so funny. I was like, yeah, that's Christmas. That
sounds about right. And I love that both of your like love it so far, are about this holiday that you loathe. We talked about this a little bit in our Grinch episode. Go check that out if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, for those who are newer listeners, I am a total. I mean, I've gotten a lot better. But like we did a Grinch episode where we watched the Grinch, the Grinch Who Stole Christmas, and the Grinch Who Stole Christmas, like the
Illumination.
Yeah. No, that's the Grinch.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Jim Carrey, OG, and
yeah,
the Illumination one.
It was a really fun episode. But yeah, I definitely am a bit of a Grinch. My other love it that you made me think of, kind of watching this, is honestly like there was a moment where Miguel. Oh wait, no, I have to talk about this before I forget. I'm a little confused. It's not. It could be better, but it was really confusing. So Johnny sleeps with Miguel's mom, and they say they'll talk that night. And then Johnny goes out to the club with Allie. What happens? Is it? I don't think this is addressed in season 4.
Yeah, I don't think it's a date.
But they're like, yeah, well, let's talk about it when we get home. But then he's out all night. It's like you just told this other woman that you would talk to her that night, and now you're going with Allie. But then I'm pretty sure, spoilers for season 4, that it's never addressed that he just didn't go talk to her.
Okay, we'll have to make a mental note of that for
I'm like 99% sure. I haven't started season 4 again yet, but like I'm trying to remember. I was like, I don't think this comes up, but like that's a pretty big buffoonery. Like
Johnny's a player, huh?
No, I don't even think that's true. I mean, maybe it's true. I don't know. I just was confused. I was like, yeah. What's crazy is then he talks about how in love he is with her with Allie during that. It's like, yeah, you're supposed to be with her right now. What are you doing?
Yeah, my ADHD brain would be like, I need to be there.
Bye.
I'm so sorry. I have to go.
But yeah, there was a Miguel thing that I wanted to talk about. Now I forgot that one.
Sorry.
That's okay. I had to say it because like Devin and I were talking about it last night, and I was like, I don't know. I don't. What's he doing? The moment where he's with the moment where they're doing karate in the Miyagi-Do, and Danny walks in on them making out is so funny. I loved it. It was like the most. And the funny thing is like Danny.
They were close to making out. It was like they weren't quite making out yet.
They were making out. The Danny's reaction is like, I know what to do here. This is the second guy I caught you kissing in my dojo. And in like a couple months span, and then Danny talking to Miguel was also a huge love it. Where like Miguel's like, I'm not listening to your like old man like rants about my sensei. Like I don't care. And it was great.
Or just like tell me what else about my sensei. There's more like questions too, right?
Well,
where he's like trying to get the other perspective too.
Well, except that he wasn't putting up with Danny's like
mischaracterization.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's cool. That and then like him like trying to set ground rules with Sam of like like what to do in the dojo. That was funny too. It was a good moment. Good dad.
Let's rate it on a scale of 0 to 5. How would you rate this season of Cobra Kai?
It is a 4.
A 4.
A 4. I think with some of the disbelief and some of my could be betters prevent it from being a 5.
Yeah, I would give it a 4 with a caveat. It's a 4, but like if you easily watch something and like get thrown off by ridiculousness, and like you're not just there to like have a snack and watch something really fun. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's like a popcorn flick of a TV show. Like it is very much
For this season, sure.
yeah. Like it is very much like the kids go in and steal a snake from a zoo. Like
And Johnny gets kicked in the face at a church.
yeah,
Right? Like there's a lot of
it's a
wild
lot,
things.
and like it's fun and funny and charming and like really enjoyable. But like from a like is this one of the best TV shows of all time? Like, no. It's just really, really fun.
Yeah.
And really, really enjoyable. So I'd give it a 4-2. All right, that is going to do it. You can find me at Swins30H. You can find Paddy B at PaddyBMTG. We're both in the Discord. We're just ready to talk about stuff like this. You can like, subscribe, leave a review. Those are some of the best ways to help the show out. Thank you so much for listening this week. And Paddy B, I hope that you have a great rest of your week. And I believe, what is our next episode? I'm supposed to say that.
So we were looking at doing it was going to be a Zelda episode, but then you realize that I have not touched a Legend of Zelda game in my life, that it was maybe not the best one to do.
Oh, that's right.
Which the next one on our like official list, there's Cobra Kai season 3 twice.
Yeah, that's
so right. might be our value in gaming episode.
Might be our value in gaming. Well, what's great value in gaming is that all the Zeldas are on, like most of them are on the Switch eShop. So people that have like Paddy B have not played Zelda. There's your chance.
We didn't talk about this at the beginning, but how has Tears of the Kingdom been for you?
Oh my gosh, dude! So side note for those, my co-host Mason Clark, I go on Twitter last night and I see Mason Clark is playing Tears of the Kingdom. Mason Clark just started like a couple months ago, maybe a month ago, had just started Red Dead Redemption 2, like the second one. And so I see him playing Tears of the Kingdom and I call him. I'm like, Mason, you just started like the best video game of all time, and now you're playing the other one. And like I know Mason, like Mason's like a 15-hour type of gamer, like that is about the max he'll put into a video game. Like I think the most I've ever seen him put into any game ever was Fire Emblem Three Houses. Like he actually beat that game, and it's like a 60-hour game. And I couldn't fathom it. I was like, what are you doing? Like, why are you playing Tears of the Kingdom? He's like, I want to experience it. I'm like, what are you gonna experience? Like, it's like a 60-hour game that you're gonna play for 10 hours. And it was funny. Like we kind of got talking about like, video games with dyslexia and like why he has a trouble finishing a lot of different games. And I gave him some tips on how to get through the beginning of this game. Just like Breath of the Wild is a tutorial that makes you learn the mechanics of your new powers. And like Mason historically is really funny. He never got past the Great Deku Tree in Ocarina of Time, which is the literal first dungeon. And so it's just really funny to see him playing this type of stuff. But what's even cooler is like after giving him some feedback, he actually was able to beat it. Like, I don't know. I wish there was more accessibility stuff. Like, this game is making me think a lot about that. Like, I don't know, voice acting. Like, just have voice acting in your video games. Like, that would save a lot of people a lot of stress that have this type of problems. But as far as the game goes, I did a video on the YouTube channel, if you're watching there, called. I'll be able to put it in the. I'll have Paddy B put a link in the YouTube description. But it was, instead of doing a review of Red Dead 2 when I finally finished it, because I instead did a video about like the impactful video games, and Red Dead Redemption 2 might have been the title.
Mm-hmm.
I believe Red Dead Redemption 2 is not only the best video game ever made, it changed my opinion on what a video game could do and be, and the level of care and the level of detail a game could have. And this Tears of the Kingdom game has that level of care and detail. Oh. Hi, Paddy.
Sorry, lost connection.
You're good.
I'm sorry.
And this game has that level. Like, it is on the level of, like, oh, this is, like, one of the best video games of all time. And, you know, it's really funny to see, like, the TikToks about it and, like, the different ways people are playing the game. But it's so good. It's unbelievable.
That's awesome. What Star Wars game should I play next of the ones you gave me? I did finish Jedi Fallen Order.
You should play Republic Commando.
Okay.
You'll enjoy it. It's really fun.
Sick.
Okay. Well, thank you everybody so much for listening. Let us know what video game you think we should talk about next time during Value in Gaming. What's the best value in gaming?
If you have any tips, be sure to comment on this episode, and we'll be sure to take a look at those and share them with the masses.
All right, thank you, everybody. We'll see you guys all next time with another episode of Need to Nerd.